I'm
Yes.
sorry to cut you in there.
Yeah.
How do you plan to work with these governors? And because I don't know I don't know how many AAC members are running for governorship across the country. I don't know how many of them you expect to win these positions. How do you expect to work with these parties that are most likely not going to be from your party if you win? Also with the National Assembly, because these are things that a lot of politics then has to come in, which is why sometimes work doesn't get done. Even in advanced democracies, we see that where there's a different party in government from people who they should be working with, and nothing gets done. So how are you going to do all of these grand things? We've even seen constitutional reforms. We've seen all the bottlenecks we went through with that, with two parties that are basically have the spread that they should have. How do you plan to do all of this?
So
Not disappoint Nigerians?
No, I'm not going to disappoint Nigerians. Nigerians are electing a president who is coming to change Nigeria, and Nigerians are standing by their president. The APC has shown to us, and that's the ruling party we have now, that even if you have all your members spread in majority in any of these, houses, legislative and National Assembly, it's not going to guarantee you cooperation. But what will guarantee you cooperation is the aspiration of the people to have a different life, to have a different government, to have progress in their life, prosperity, and have peace. And I'm working with the people. I'm not going to be talking here about being held to ransom by members of the National Assembly, because if that argument were to be true and valid, then we might as well just, hand over to them and say, well, it's not possible to ever find.
No, but it's a valid fact.
It is a valid. What I'm saying is that
it's
up to the people to also vote for these people, our members who are out there running for different positions. We have governors running in states. We have members of House of Representatives, senators running. We have House of.
Do you realistically see them winning?
Absolutely. Why not? It's up to the people to vote for them. Why not? Nobody knew that APC members could win 4 years ago. They were set up by December of 2014. APC just had a presidential candidate and they won an election 2 months later. That's what Buhari was produced in December 2014.
Why, you talk about the APC now,
Yes.
We know how they came to be. There were coalitions made. Why haven't you tried that route? There's, I want to believe, 70 or 69 other parties besides the two main ones that you could have had conversations with. Have you tried to have these conversations?
I've been to 3 meetings with young...
3 out of 69?
No. Not all the parties who presented presidential candidates are actually running. That you should know. And they are not pretending about it. A lot of them just, they want to have it on their CV.
So who have you had meetings with?
I've had meetings with Kisley Moghalu, had with Faladro Toye, I've had with Kubese when he was running, I had with Obi, I had with...
what came out of them?
Well, we left the place unable to agree on who should be a consensus candidate.
Would you be willing to step down for any of them?
It's not about stepping down. It's about finding somebody who can carry my aspirations to the presidency. If I find that person, we have the conversation. Stepping down is the last thing that should be discussed.
So that was
what killed PACT. It was that they started discussing stepping down when they hadn't even found a candidate first.
So you didn't find any of these qualities in any of these people?
No, just look. You're talking about coalition now. You are looking at coalition from a structural standpoint. You're not looking at it from a philosophical standpoint. That there's a coalition of Nigerians out there already who are coalescing under our party. And they are the same people that you find in coalitions that are structural. Even after you form a structural coalition, you still need the political parties to agree with the candidates. You still need members of each of the candidates that are surrendering their mandate or whatever you want to still agree with them. But when you already have a coalition of people who are desirous of change, who are revolutionarily minded, you are only having partnerships at that point. And that's what our party is about. When we started, I was looking for a political party that could allow me run as a president on their platform. It was difficult to find because they all had their own agenda, which is different from what I wanted. And when we started our own party, we didn't have much difficulties in pushing forward. And within a short time, the shortest time possible, our party became the most popular party in this country, new party. It was just about 5 months ago that AAC was
Why did you leave it too late, though? Do you think that's a good way to go about running for office?
There's never a late time. It's never too late to aspire for freedom. It's never too late. People plan revolutions in days, and they happen. We didn't leave it too late. We started at a time we feel is the best time to strike, and you are seeing the results.
Looking realistically,
people have been around before us can't even compete with us.
Looking realistically, and I
Yes.
want you to be be honest with me. You look at the APC and the PDP.
Yes.
You've had conversations across the country. You see, you're on social media very active. You see the kind of conversations that go on there. Do you honestly think you stand a chance?
Absolutely. I honestly and absolutely know that I stand a chance. And we've seen it happen even with the debate they did yesterday. I was skimmed out of it, but since you mentioned social media, when the debate was done, I was trending on Twitter. So you find somebody who didn't debate trending, that tells you something. So all these things count for something because people are connecting with the social messaging that we have out there about the different kind of politics that we're challenging the status quo. And I've done debates with a lot of these candidates, and my message is different, and it was clear. It was laconic. Yeah. That this is what Sowore wants to do, and this is, we're referring to some of them here about minimum wage, about security, about infrastructure, about how the country can change. What you need to challenge me on is if these things can be done. I've said it that it can be done, that we can have a minimum wage as a living wage, that we can double our infrastructure, that we can invest 3.6 billion naira in housing, and that we can have a mortgage system in which an average worker can take 2 million naira in mortgage, and with 100,000 they can pay 20,000 every month and be able to pay back their mortgage and actually build a house and also use that as a collateral. You know, nobody could fault that. Not even the economists who are younger could fault this when we had to debate it on TV or one-on-one. So we've discussed all of this and come to the conclusion that we have a different solid message that can take this country to a different level. And I'm not talking about next level now, because that's a fraud. And I say that with due respect to whomever designed that, but the highest level. But we can choose to remain where we are, be afraid, be complacent, and be complicit in some ways, in worsening our conditions, or decide that there is a way out and a different way out, and we have clearly stated what the way out is: out of poverty in this country, out of the oppressive system, and the implicit destruction of our value system and our persons and our dignity. And the moment we decide that, we'll be free. The next day, you'll never hear about APC or PDP again, because they have already shot themselves in the foot. At any rate, they are just a facade. We went around this country, we couldn't find any structure anywhere where people really believed in it. If they did, they won't need to buy votes.
All right, we're going to take a break now, and when we come back, we'll conclude our conversation. Please don't go away.